I have just brought the most crash damaged and cheapest R1 in the country. And no, this is not a microphone, this is a fork leg.
This is my Yamaha R1. Well, what's left of it anyway. What used to be the fastest, most aggressive superbike on the road is now just sitting here in pieces. Twisted metal, cracked fairings, well, no fairings, and a story written in scratches and oil stains. They said it's the most damaged R1 in the country, but I see something different. I see a challenge, a mission, and maybe a second chance for this once iconic bike.
I'm not sure if I'm crazy or stupid or one of those two for buying this bike. Look at the front end. This is the fork. It's completely snapped. That's the front wheel. Completely snapped fork. That fork was that one or that one. I don't know. All the front stays gone, which is there. Luckily the clocks are okay, but that's come off. There were no fairings with the bike. They were completely totaled. Huge dent in the tank there. That carbon, that's all come off there. That's all broken. Foot peg. The gear selector's gone. Luckily it hasn't bent that somehow. That's gone. It did have some R&G protection on, the big bobbin things. But the guy I brought the bike off, he's taken them off, and he's taken the exhaust as well. I think the exhaust was damaged, but I think he had an aftermarket exhaust for it and he wanted to keep that. So originally this was his road bike and he took it on a track day, and that sounded like an accident. I don't know if you heard that on the mic, but it was screeching tyres. But the guy had it as a road bike and he took it on a track day, and unfortunately it started to rain and he lost the front end, and the result is this. I brought it as a non-runner.
Before we get into talking about this bike not even working yet, let's talk about what I've actually brought. I've brought a 2006 Yamaha R1 Gen 4. This bike has a 998cc engine. It was the first model to have radial brakes, underslung exhaust and upside down forks, and around about 172 horsepower at the time, which modern standards isn't a lot, but back then that was a powerful bike. But mine obviously doesn't look like this anymore.
The advert said it hasn't run, or at least he hasn't tried starting it since he crashed it. The exhausts were ripped off or knocked off when it crashed. The head has come away. So I'm worried that some water, because it was raining, or stones or something's gone in the engine. So we're going to have a look at that as well.
But before we do that, I need to build this shed in the pouring down rain, which wasn't fun, and we struggled to get it in the world's smallest space, but we got there in the end. So now it's time to get the bike in the shed. I'm not going to tell you how much I paid for this bike just yet, but I feel like I potentially overpaid for this bike. I feel like that. Considering the state it's in, it doesn't work. Not that I know of anyway, so I could potentially just brought a dead bike. Before we go any further with the build, tonight is a good night, boys and girls, because I have got myself a new toolbox. I have been buzzing for one of these, so let's get this out and get my tools in there, and then we can carry on with the bike. Guys, check it out. I am so happy with this. Look at this. Like, guys, I know some of you are going to have amazing toolboxes and like all snap-on stuff, but for me, oh, that one's empty. I've got drawers now. Let's have a look to see what's in the oven. Got some roasted walnuts. Now that's just the airbox that I've taken off. That's enough of roasted walnuts. We need to get this show on the road. Let's get this engine out of the frame so we can finally see what we have got and what we haven't got. Because at the moment, I don't even know if this bike runs. I don't even know if it works. This all could be a waste of time. So I think the best thing for us to do is get this engine out and assess the frame, assess the engine, and go from there, and we can make a plan together to get this bike back on the road. Done
That engine bolt there, that's undone. Same this side. The one through there is out. Just got to take that one out, which is in there. And then we can have a look to see if we've got some electrical power. I'm hoping, praying that none of this is ripped apart. I've got a battery, so we're going to put that on and see if we've at least got some life. I know all this is all smashed to bits, but I can't start the engine. Well, one, it's got no fuel tank. The fuel tank had a massive hole in it, so it'd be full of water probably. The radiator snapped off, that's what's left of the radiator. Because if all that works, then at least I would say the loom and the wiring is all together. So let's do that. Hold these on here. Wish me luck. Go, guys. Something's happening to the... Oh, we got life. We've got life. Saying it's got no fuel. If you've made it this far into the video, thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button. We've got power, so that's a good thing, but we still don't know if the engine works, but we still need to get this engine out of the frame. So let's get the rear shock out and make our way to getting this engine out of the bike. Sat here thinking, why is this not coming out? And why have they put a bolt in that doesn't come out? But then I realised this bolt here has got on the flange, it's got a flat bit to get past the swinging arm. The rear shock is out. WP suspension. These guys do a lot for KTM. If you didn't know, if you're new to motorbikes, these guys supply a lot of suspension. When you buy a brand new KTM off-road bike and road bikes, they're all WP. Well, used to be anyway. I think they still are. The 2006 bike, the velocity stacks are solid. They're fixed in place. My camera died, otherwise I would have filmed this bit. They're sat there, and they're different heights. You've got long ones, so that's a longer one, and that's a shorter one. So you have two longer ones on the inside, all the way around. Two long ones there, short one, and these are to help the airflow and something to do with RPM. But on the 2008 model, they move up and down, but these are fixed solid. With the rear suspension finally out of the bike and me trying to explain velocity stacks and not doing a very good job, but bear with me guys, because I'm not a mechanic and I'm learning on the job, and this is my first project, my first real, I don't know, go at rebuilding a crashed bike and hopefully getting this bike back on the road. But I really, really hope this engine works, because all this, again, could be a waste of time. This is the air filter. That's a bit cruddy as well. Bit mouldy, which might mean some water's got in there. Oh man, I don't know. We'll find out. So with one more bolt to undo to slide the pin through the swing arm to finally get this frame off the engine, we can finally see what we're dealing with. Struggling to get the frame off, I was thinking what's going on? But basically through there, look, I'll show you. So the engine mount bolt goes through the engine here. And I was thinking, I've taken the bolt out, but why is it not coming out? in here, so in there you have an adjustment, and it winds like a sort of like a grub screw to centralize the engine. So if the engine doesn't like do that basically, and you wouldn't want to put washers in there because they would potentially fall out and it'd just be a nightmare to get them in. So I'd imagine that's why they've designed it. So hopefully now we can get the engine out. So that spacer adjustment grub screw I was just telling you about, I cannot get this one out for the life of me, so I've just had to smash a star bit into it. See if that can get it out like that. Oh yeah. We're off. So that's the frame finally off the engine. But as I was taking the frame off the engine, it dawned on me, yes, this bike might have been cheap, but actually, when you think about all the parts that I don't even have, like front forks, front brakes, levers, brake lines, wheels, it's starting to get pretty costly. And also, I don't even know if this engine starts. So is this going to be a complete waste of time? Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.